Don't you just hate it when, all of a sudden you go into OBS and everything's reset? For no fucking reason as well. Like, that's the worst part, is, like, if it happened for, like, a reason, I'd get it. But sometimes it just happens for no fucking reason. I don't know. Okay, whatever. So, today, we've got a chocolate bar we're going to try out. That's going to be our first thing. Then we got 2 food things to talk about. We've got we got Invincible, because, oh boy, was it a big episode this week. And then we got 1 video game, Tomodachi Life, obviously, the big one. And then we do have a book, and that's about it. My goal this week is I want to keep it short. I really do. We're not doing Captain Toad. If I go over like an hour and a half, I will have fucking failed this week. Because there is no gaming news. There's no gaming news this week. I mean, of course, shit always happens. There are always stories. There was a rumor about the PS5 this week. We had a thing about the Zelda movie today. We had talks about Xbox and sitting down with their new president talking about how Game Pass is too expensive. Like, yeah, shit happens, but this is primarily a Nintendo podcast. We talk about Nintendo things. It's not exclusive, This is the What I've Been Enjoying podcast. So at the end of the day, we talk about what I have been enjoying, but there was just no gaming news that I enjoyed this week. So we're just going to skip it. No news is good news, I guess, let's say. I mean, I would say there were no layoffs, but I think Disney laid off like a bunch of people this week. So, like, fuck, what are you going to do? So, yeah, no gaming news this week. Maybe there'll be, I was really hoping they were going to announce a Star Fox, or maybe we finally get some news about Splatoon Raiders, but nothing. I guess we'll try again next week. So for WIBE, like I said, we got a chocolate bar that we're going to try out right now. Then we've got Popeyes, did a One Piece collaboration. So finally, we're talking about One Piece on this show. Just not the One Piece people want us to talk about. Then Taco Bell did a thing that I tried out today, so we'll talk about that. We have Invincible, the penultimate episode of Season 4, and it was fucking great. Then I'll talk real quick about Tomodachi Life. I don't want to give away everything. I've been playing it off stream, Tomodachi from... Whereas Animal Crossing, it's like, oh yeah, let's share this with the world. Let's have fun making an island together. Tomodachi Life is much more personal to me. Like, it's this idea that, like, hey, you can put your friends, your family, your coworkers. I don't want to say it's like doxing, but it kind of is like that, and I don't want to deal with that. I love Vinesauce's Tomodachi Life series. If you did not see that back in the day, it's kind of one of those things where you had to be there to get it, but I was there and I loved it, and I don't want that kind of sauce. I know I'm like not even 100th as popular as him, but I don't want that kind of shit to deal with, so let's not worry about it. But I'll still talk about some of the shit I've been doing. And then we do have a book. I don't think I talked about Assistant to the Villain last week, even though I had finished it. I put it on the docket this week. I'll talk about it a little. I'm not having as good of a time as I want to with this. I feel like I should be having a lot of fun, and I'm just not. So, yeah, there's that. With that, let's get into this chocolate bar, shall we? So, I've talked in the past how... Oh, fuck. Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what did I break? I've talked in the past, I'm a big fan of Dungeon Crawler Carl. I found out about the books. I've technically known about them for a little bit, but around this time last year, I started reading them. I read all 7 books, basically. I read 7 books in, 3-4 months? And I do plan on going back, plus there's also a new book coming out in 3 weeks. And so, one of the collaborations they've done is with this company. I think they're called Mave. It might be Mave. It's formerly the Seattle Chocolate Company. I'm just going to call them Mave. And they did a thing. They did this earlier, where they did a collaboration with Dungeon Crawler Carl. Mave Chocolate partnered with the Dungeon Crawler Carl universe to create a bar inspired by Donut's favorite drink, the Virgin Dirty Shirley. Princess Donut's Virgin Dirty Shirley, a dark chocolate truffle bar with cherries, white chocolates, popping candy fizz, delivering legendary Virgin Dirty Shirley flavors. So if you've read Dungeon Crawler Carl, there's a running joke about, how Donut gets the Virgin Dirty Shirley or the Dirty Shirley at the Desperado Club. And so, of course, they teamed up with this chocolate company to actually make it. You've got Donut, you've got Mongo, you've got the drink with extra cherries, plus a bunch of other references, the underpants, which I did make in Tomodachi Life. I have not added Donut or Carl to Tomodachi Life yet, but I've definitely thought about it. I'm assuming, it's, Gentleman's Club at the Desperado Club. So yeah, this is a thing. This bar is inspired by Princess Donut's favorite drink, the Virgin Dirty Shirley. It starts with sustainably sourced, delicious dark chocolate, melts into creamy white chocolate center, and is packed with sweet dried cherries and popping candy that cracks with fizzy magic. Or, as Donut herself would probably say, Carl, if my chocolate doesn't sparkle, what are we even doing here? And then it's, new achievement. This collaboration brings Mave together with Matt Dinneman, author of Dungeon Crawler Carl, a New York Times bestselling fantasy series with millions of copies sold across print and audio, plus graphic novels, a television series in development. Seth MacFarlane's doing it, which, on one hand, I've seen the Orville. That gives me hope. But on the other hand, there's stuff like Family Guy, so we'll see. We'll see. It's a rich storytelling and passionate audience made an exciting world to translate chocolate, learn more about Matt Dinneman there. And so, yeah, this is a thing that they've made. Technically, this happened a while ago, but they recently restocked, like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And I, of course, did buy some. I will say it is the most expensive chocolate I've bought, maybe ever, but definitely in a long time. Because you can see the price down there. It's $8 a bar, or you can get a 12-pack for $96. Ah, fuck, that's a lot. But I've heard good things about this, and so I was curious, and I was like, yeah, I gotta try it. I have to at least give it a try. So yes, I do have one right here. I do not have a webcam, obviously. So we can't actually webcam it. I really need to fix that. Alright, opening it up. Tastes great. Every bite is lovingly layered. Bars of improves cocoa farmers' lives in Ghana through projects like digging wells for fresh water. Funding savings and loan programs for year-round funding of farming. Planting seedling trees for future cocoa. Educating farmers on good nutrition and regenerative agriculture. And support for female and wedded cocoa farmers. So now I open it up. I've got the bar here. It says Mave on it. So it's what? Oh gosh, it's already kind of melted. I've had this in my fridge for the past few days, and I've had it out in the heat for I don't know, what? I guess 15 minutes. No, it's probably been closer to 30, and it's already kind of melting. But that's fine. That's fine. Alright, I'm going to break it up. Oop. Did not do a clean split there, but whatever. Alright, I've chunked it up. I'm going to try some of it now, but I will be probably feasting on this for the rest of the episode. Wiping off my hands with all this chocolate. Alright, let's take a square. I don't know if you can hear the popping candy. This is not a mukbang, but this is about as close as I'll get. I taste the popping candy. I taste the dark chocolate. I taste the white chocolate and the truffle. Oh, I definitely taste the cherry, by the way. That's very obvious. It's very apparent. Truffle is more of like a back note thing. It's good. It is good. I mean, it better be for the price I fucking paid for it. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. So, I'll be honest with popping candy. Popping candy's in everything nowadays. I don't really feel like it's that necessary. Not that I, like, hate popping candy or anything. I see it in drinks, I see it in chocolate, I see it in ice cream. It's in everything, and I don't really need that much popping candy. It's fine here. Like, it's not, like, overstated. Like, I've had, like... Where was it, Sonic Burger that did like a popping candy slush or something, and it was just too much. It was just too much. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I do like that. I don't know if I'll ever have it again, because, I mean, God, that price. But for that price, yeah, that's a good bar of chocolate. Oh yeah, I'd take that over like a Dubai chocolate bar any day of the week. Like, I bet Dubai chocolate is, if not the same, more than that. And yeah, I'd take that over Dubai chocolate any day of the week. That's pretty good. Oh, I do like that. Yeah. So yeah, I'm very positive on that. You know, if you've got the money, if you're a fan of the series, if you're not a fan of the series, go pick up the series. I saw maybe it was Audible, maybe it was Sound Booth. I get emails from both that like the first 6 books in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series were like, I think like $20 last week. If you have not, you can read the books. The books are good read, but I would highly recommend the audiobook. If you have never listened to Dungeon Crawler Carl, I don't think it starts the strongest, but you gotta stick with it. And if you do, oh my gosh, does it pay off. And it is so good. And the next book comes out, you know, if you start now, the next book comes out in 3 weeks. And you'll probably be around, I don't know, if you're a fast reader, you'll probably be around book 4. But hey, that's all the more motivation. It's worth it. It's so worth it. It's better than every other book I'm currently reading, I'll tell you that. Oh, that one popped right on my teeth. I'm not the biggest dark chocolate guy. I think I've said that in the past. This does a good job at balancing the dark chocolate. Yeah, that's good. That's very good. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to move this off to the side, just because I could keep eating this forever. So yeah, that's great. Highly recommend. If you can go check this out, go check this out. With that, let's get into Kirby, shall we? Let me pull up the Switch real quick. Switch. Alright, so we're doing Kirby tonight, mainly because, like I said, if I go for over like an hour and a half, then I have failed. This should be a short show. God, I hope it's a short show tonight. And we're just going to do some Top Ride, because I remember when we did Game of the Year, we did Air Ride, and we did the other mode, but we didn't do Top Ride, and we should have done Top Ride. That was like my mistake, is like, oh, we should have done Top Ride. Mainly because, you know, I would have if we had gone longer, if we had gone like another hour longer. We're going to use our GameCube. And yeah, we're just going to play some Air Ride. We're not going to do any, we're just going to do Top Ride for the next like hour. Once we're good, we'll call it there. If we go longer than like an hour, because, listen, I like Top Right in this game, but I don't love Top Right in this game. Maybe we'll boot up like Mario Kart or something, I don't know. Because I've been craving Mario Kart a little bit recently. And I've been craving this game as well, so that's why we're playing it. Because I was in between Mario Kart and this, and I was like, hey, let's do Top Ride. Fuck it. I should have just done Splatoon as well. Alright, give me 1 second, and we'll get into Popeyes. Oh, also, I bought a new fan. I have, because my old one, you know, I run it. It's hot here, and I run it almost 24/7. And it's definitely one of those things where it's like, it's dying. So I bought a new one. Hopefully it's not that loud. I have it on the lowest setting. It can be very loud. Oh my god. That is so nice. That is so loud, though. It's a nice fan. And I'm really happy with it, but yeah, I need something. I need some sort of support. Oh god, this chocolate bar is so good. This one's got a lot of cherry in it, this bit. Alright, let's talk about Popeyes, shall we? So, we got 2 food things this week. The first one is Popeyes, because if you did not hear, Popeyes did a One Piece collaboration. Which, I don't know, Popeyes is doing One Piece, they did Freddy Fazbear's. They did another weird one as well that I don't remember the details on. But Popeyes has been doing all these weird collaborations. And I'm down for it. And I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm down for this. So I went. I know in like 3 or 4 select locations, they were doing actual, like, bento boxes. I'm obviously not one of those, and I guess they sold out, like, instantly. It was like Boston, New York, and like 2 other places. Probably California. Yeah, I have not played that much Top Ride. So yeah, I was like, okay, One Piece collaboration, let's do this, sure. So what's in the meal? So you can get, like, there's multiple, like, different tiers, but I obviously went for the big one, which is the Luffy's Bento. Luffy? I'm just gonna say Luffy. The Bento Bundle. So it comes with 2 pieces of chicken. You can get, you know, thighs, drums, wings, breast, you know, whichever type you want. You get 2 pieces. You get a mac and cheese, just a normal, like, small side of mac and cheese. I don't know if it's small. I don't know what their sizes are. You get a cupcake, Chopper's cupcake, and you get a Gum Gum lemonade. So that's what I tried. You know, the chicken is the chicken. I'm very much on board with their chicken sandwiches. Like, that's what I care about, but their chicken's still fine. The mac and cheese was also fine. It's not very much, but that's whatever. It's decent for fast food mac and cheese. I have definitely had worse. And then on to the actual, like, One Piece collaboration stuff. So the Chopper's cupcake, it's basically they take, like, one of their, like, cups they use for, like, gravy and, like, mashed potatoes and whatnot, and they put a cupcake inside one of those cups. They did something similar with the Five Nights at Freddy's meal, where you had a Chica's cupcake that had, like, that was like a normal cupcake with, like, a strawberry glaze. This is a strawberry cupcake with little strawberry icing flowers and white sprinkles. So it's not very complicated, but you know what? It's not bad. I will be honest, I'm not a big strawberry guy, partially because I'm allergic, but not in like a, oh, I'm gonna die if I eat it sort of way, just in a, yeah, not really for me. And to that end, yeah, it was kind of whatever. I mean, there is like a strawberry, so it's not just like a strawberry flavored cake. There is also like a layer of strawberry jam in there. And yeah, it tasted fine. It wasn't anything like super amazing. It was fine. Would I get it again? No. No. But, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, it's neat to do. I will say I liked the Chica cupcake more. Because the Chica cupcake used not like an icing, but like a glaze. The glaze kind of like seeped into the cake itself. And I liked that better. I felt like the Chica cupcake was better. But I'm sure other people disagree. I mean, this is a fucking Popeyes cupcake. What else do you expect? Now, the other thing is the Gum Gum Lemonade. So I'm pretty sure the lemonade base, like Popeyes doesn't have like their own like lemonade in the same way like Chick-fil-A or Raising Cane's does. I'm pretty sure Popeyes lemonade is just Minute Maid. I think. Because I think like Wiener Schnitzel does the same thing where they just use like Minute Maid. And that's fine. There's nothing inherently wrong about that. It's just, you know, places that do their own lemonade are stronger. Again, Chick-fil-A and Raising Cane's. But with that being said, the Gum Gum Lemonade was fantastic. Oh my gosh, it was so good. So it's 3 flavors. So it's obviously a lemonade base, but it's got pineapple flavor, blue raspberry flavor, and orange flavor. The blue raspberry, I would say, is the strongest, which is kind of weird because you'd think like pineapple would like, you know, usually pineapple's the strongest, but no, I would definitely lean heavy into the blue raspberry, then probably the pineapple, and then the orange. Honestly, I didn't even know there was orange in it. I just figured it was blue raspberry and pineapple until I looked it up to put it in the show notes. But to that end, this was really good. Oh my gosh, this is something I would have again. I think, is it Dutch Bros? I know one of those places makes like custom sodas where you can like put the different syrups in. I think it's Dutch. I know there's obviously that Mormon place, but I think Dutch Bros does it as well. And if I could recreate that there, oh my gosh, because then I wouldn't have to drive like to the other side of town to get it. But this was so good. I would easily have this again. Like, sure, did it mean that I can't, like, touch water or whatever the fuck is going on in One Piece? I think it removes their ability to swim. Is that it? It's Davy Jones who can't touch water in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And the Gum Gum fruit makes it so you can't swim? I don't know, I've never watched One Piece or read the manga. I always say I'm going to, and then I never do. But instead, I'll just rewatch Dungeon Crawler Carl, or re-listen to it. But no, this Gum Gum Lemonade was really good. I really liked it. Everything else, you know, it's Popeyes. I have said in the past that of the major chicken places, Popeyes is the best one, for at least in my opinion. You know, I don't really have Chick-fil-A that often. Like, I've had Chick-fil-A maybe twice in the past year, and I never go and get it. That's always my roommates or, you know, somebody else. But yeah, Popeyes is just so good, and this was great. I really enjoyed that. For the drink alone, it was worth it. Yeah, other than that, everything else was okay. You know, they had like the box had like One Piece branding on it. Other than that, it wasn't anything that special. But hey, it's cool that it happened. You know, anime has gone mainstream, and some places, Popeyes, weirdly enough, are willing to capitalize on it. Now, if only when everybody else did. Actually, they're getting better. Alright, let's talk about Taco Bell next. So Taco Bell, their big thing this week, because Taco Bell is doing something basically every week. That's kind of become their new strategy, is they want to put out something new basically every week, which is very vexing. But this week they had a few new things. The big one was the Diablo nuggets. So this was something they had talked about at Live Moss Live a few weeks ago, where they were going to cover the chicken nuggets in Diablo seasoning, which is, you know, based off of their Diablo sauce. I know they were also talking about doing that to the nacho fries. I'm kind of surprised they didn't do both Diablo nacho fries in Diablo nuggets at the same time. But whatever. Of course, there were other things. There's also a triple double crunch wrap. There's the Zaxby's chicken ranch nacho fries. I'll be honest, I did not try the Zaxby's chicken ranch nacho fries. I know it was a thing they had, but I was like, I'm good, I don't want that. And then there was also Dirty Baja Midnight, which is something I think they had, which is maybe something they did last week. I don't know if I've talked about that one before, but I had it anyways, and so I might as well talk about it here. So the first thing is the Diablo nuggets. So these do have, they're not just like, you know, like the frozen nugget that has like Diablo seasoning in the coating. No, these are actually, like, they probably take them out of the fryer, and then they have like a shaker that dusts the actual nuggets. So like when you pick them up, you get that seasoning on your fingers. And to that end, yeah, they're okay. They do have some spice to them. It's not like an overwhelming level of spice. Like, it's not like so much you're gonna like burn your mouth off or anything like that, but it's got some spice there. It's, you know, this is more of like a coating than it is, say, like a McDonald's, or not McDonald's, Wendy's spicy nugget. You know, like Wendy's has their spicy nuggets. This is, you know, this is more like when you go to like someplace like Wingstop and get like a spicy coating on it. That's what I'd more compare this to. And yeah, they're okay. I did not get the Diablo Ranch sauce. I'm pretty sure that's something they've had before. I bet we've talked about it on this show. Instead, I was just like, I'm just gonna get the Bell sauce. I do like the Bell sauce. And yeah, it worked fine. You got, you know, when you dip it in the nugs, some of that Bell sauce stays, or some of the Diablo spice stays behind in the Bell sauce, so you keep getting it. But yeah, they're not bad. You know, if you like that, like, little bit of Taco Bell spice, yeah, there are worse things you could do. I tried the triple double crunch wrap. So this is a crunch wrap where it has like multiple layers. You know, it's got an extra tostada. It's got more meat. It's got more beans. Are there refried beans in a crunch wrap? I honestly don't know. But you know, it's supposed to be a bigger crunch wrap. I had it. I could not tell the difference. Honest to glob, I could not tell you the difference. If there was more, I mean, I think there were 2 tostada shells, but really it did not, mine was very flat. It did not look much different than a normal Taco Bell crunch wrap. So I don't know if this one's really worth it, because I feel like, yeah, I mean, admittedly, it's been like, I don't know, probably like 6 months since I've had a crunch wrap. So maybe I'm just, you know, maybe the normal crunch wrap's a lot smaller than I remember it. But, you know, shrinkflation is also a bitch. So you never really know. But, I mean, it's still a crunch wrap. I do think a crunch wrap is good. Not my favorite thing. I'm still a chalupa guy at the end of the day. But no, it was good. I've definitely had worse. Like I said, I did not try the Zaxby's chicken ranch fries. I just couldn't be bothered. Zaxby's, you know, it's not my go-to or anything like that. And I was like, I'm good. I don't need that. I did, however, try the Dirty Baja Midnight. Again, this might have been a thing last time we talked about Taco Bell. I genuinely don't remember. But I had it again this time, or I had it for the first time. Either, you know, it's a Baja Midnight, but they put, like, cream in it. Presumably it's a non-dairy cream. It's different than last week we talked about Dirty Mountain Dew, which was Mountain Dew's take on a cream soda. No, this Dirty Baja Midnight is a more traditional Baja Midnight. And to that end, I actually thought it was pretty good. You know, adding that cream to the Baja Midnight strengthens the flavor a little bit. And yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. I'd probably, you know, whenever I go back, if they're still having it, yeah, I'd get it again. Sure. I know a lot of places are, dirty drinks are still big. Not as big as I would say they were like a year or two ago. I guess McDonald's next month is going to be doing dirty something. They're going to be doing dirty sodas. Because, McDonald's killed Cosmics last year. And now they're trying to get all the Cosmic stuff into the normal restaurants. Or at least pick the best ones. And so, yeah, I guess we'll see. But yeah, Taco Bell, I've had worse Taco Bell runs. I think last time was worse, honestly. But then again, that's been a while. Alright, let's talk about Invincible. So last week, when we talked about Invincible, I had been hearing the complaints of people being like, oh yeah, this Thrag guy, he's the leader of the Viltrumites. He's supposed to be the scariest guy we've ever met. And last week, people were calling him like a fraud and a bitch. Oh no, as he chases after his skull teddy bear. Like, people were calling out Thrag, and I was like, just you wait. Just you fucking wait. And then come in this week, and they fucking stood and delivered. Oh my god, Thrag was fantastic in this episode. Of course, that didn't stop. Most people were like, yeah, okay, we were wrong. I saw that Deep meme everywhere on TikTok. That's like Deep holding the phone. It's like, Thrag, no, I never called you a fraud. Look at my phone. That was all over the place. Of course, Hat Guy over at the escape pod couldn't help himself and still called Thrag a bitch and a pussy. So, like, does that really surprise anybody? I mean, come on, it's Hat Guy, the king of the bad take on the podcast scene. Which, the craziest part is, I agree with Hat Guy more than I do the other guy. Like, listen, I know some people really hate the escape pod. I remember Meat Canyon called them out, and, like, fuck Meat Canyon. But that's a whole other thing. At the end of the day, I get it. Anyone can have a podcast, trust me, I know. But also, bad takes are fine. Like, I'd rather have a guy who comes out and gives bad takes on movies and television than someone who comes out and is, hailing Hitler and trying to kill all the trans people. Like, I'd take a million escape pods over just the Tate Bros existing. Over fucking Ben Shapiro or Charlie Kirk or Nick Fuentes just doing what they do. Like, yeah, give me another 100 escape pods. Like, there are far worse things. Sure, do they defend Harry Potter more than I wish they did? Yes. Yes, they do. But at the end of the day, what you gonna do? But no, Hat Guy's completely off base for this one. Awful take. Thrag was great. Right, he's no Homelander. I saw him comparing to, like, oh yeah, Homelander's a bitch. Which Homelander's a bitch? But, like, even in this show, like, Oliver is way bigger a fraud. I mean, he's done nothing. Like I know Mark has been in a coma for half of the Viltrumite War, and he has done more than Oliver has. Fucking Tech Jacket, someone who last week people were also clowning on, did more in this episode than Oliver does. Like, God, fucking the Immortal might have more cred than Oliver does at this point, with how often Oliver just gets his fucking ass kicked. So with that, getting into the episode, you start off, we get this flashback where we see Argyle, Emperor Argyle, before he gets killed by Thetis. Someone pointed out on Twitter that Argyle is voiced by the person who did Megatron, and of course, Thaddeus is voiced by Optimus Prime, which I have no way to prove that. I like Thaddeus, you hear Optimus Prime every time he speaks. I don't know Transformers enough to know the Megatron voice, but either way, I think that's a cool connection. I'm totally down for that. And in the flashback, you know, they're at a war council meeting. Thetis says they shouldn't genocide the people. Argyle says they do. Thrag is like, should we get rid of Thetis? And Argyle's like, use your best judgment, Thrag. And so he decides not to. And then because of that, you know, that gives Thetis an opportunity to kill Argyle. And Thrag blames himself, right? Thrag considers himself a failure for not stopping it, for not saving Argyle. And with that, he kicks off the Great Purge. Now, I know in the season 1 finale, they talk about a Great Purge, how, you know, all the Viltrumites, you know, they became stronger by killing each other off. I'm assuming there are multiple purges in the history of Viltrum. There's, like, the original one that, like, only the, you know, the strongest survive. And then there's the one under Thrag when he took charge, which, you know, cut the population in half. That also, again, only the strong can survive. So this scene was not in the comics, by the way. And at one point you see Nolan, or at least someone who's using the same, you know, character model as Nolan. And I've seen some people be like, oh, that's not actually Nolan. You know, they reuse character models all the time. Like, there's a Viltrumite who has Debbie's same face, for example. But I do think that is Nolan. I will stand, like, we know Nolan's like 1,000 years old. Presumably the Scourge virus stuff didn't happen that far after Argyle's death. Like, yeah, it's, you know, maybe 100 years, but that's still not that much time. Especially when Viltrumites are effectively immortal when it comes to aging. So until we are proven otherwise, I am going to assume that's Nolan. Like, the fact that he's the only character without a mustache, I think is also very important. So I think it makes sense to just assume that's Nolan and that he survived this Great Purge. But yeah, the whole Purge scene is great. You know, we get a moment where we think, oh, is Conquest gonna fight Thrag? Because that's the whole thing, is like, Thrag is so strong that even, like, Conquest fears him. Which, by the way, everything that's happened this past, like, week or two with Conquest has been so fucking good. This whole thing with Carl, where it's like, oh, Conquest comes to Earth instead of Nolan. He even gets a cool name, Carl. Everybody likes him. Everybody wants to be his friend. I fucking live for those memes. I love those memes so much. And, like, I know people are like, oh, well, in the comics, you know, he's a genocidal maniac. Oh, look at this Battle Beast comic. We're not talking about the comics here. The big Conquest speech that everyone keeps quoting wasn't even in the comics, man. I love the whole Carl thing. And it kind of makes me feel like, you know, last week, I think it was last week, they did the, like, end teaser of the episode where it's like, it cuts to Conquest's grave and it's gonna be like, oh, he's still alive. And then, no, fake out, guess what? Yes, he is actually dead. And part of me is like, do they regret that? Because I honestly think they could have done Carl West, and people would have loved it. Like, being that one of the major changes they made between the comics and the show. But, whatever. You know, leave it to the fan fictions, I guess. Not like people aren't writing them, because, fuck, man, there's been so much drama. The Invincible fandom is just drama at the moment. It fucking sucks, man. It's outside of, like, there's a reason why the Carl stuff is so popular, because the whole adrenaline side of the fandom is a fucking miserable cesspit. Nobody wants to deal with that. And the people who do are fucking, they're just sad. Like, I get it. Have your headcanons, death of the author, whatever, but stop dragging everybody else into it. Nobody gives a shit about power scaling. I know you do, because you were raised on anime and Death Battle. Power scaling doesn't matter. You want to know who wins a fight? Whoever the author says will win the fight. Speaking of people who can't lose fights, fucking Thrag. You know, they come after Thrag on the planet Viltrum. Nobody can even fucking touch him. Space Racer shoots his laser at him. Just glances by. They go to throw a punch at him. He just steps out of the way. Fucking Battle Beast charges out of him. Thrag fucking throws Battle Beast out of the episode. He doesn't show back up after Thrag just throws him away. And people have been like, oh, Battle Beast is the strongest character in the show. You know, before Thrag, he's like number 2 or 3. Yeah, Battle Beast is fucking God. And I get it, they're in space, Battle Beast can't fly, but still. Eventually, you know, Thrag and Nolan face off. Thrag punches Nolan down to the planet's surface. This conversation between Thrag and Nolan is also original to the show, and I think it's fantastic. Because it sets up what comes next, where Nolan says that the planet Viltrum is a tomb. There are less than 50 Viltrumites left, the planet's a tomb, and Thrag's like, no, we can rebuild it. Let me give you the opportunity, you know, you're working for Thetis, he killed Argyle, he created the Scourge virus, how dare you work for him? Scared the shit out of me. So yeah, I love that scene, and then of course it ends with Thrag pulling back his fist so fast, he creates a vacuum, and then he punches Nolan back into space. So fucking cool. Oh my gosh. And then afterwards, you know, they fly back up to space. Oliver, of course, the biggest fraud, goes after Thrag, and he's like, oh, Black Hole wants its suck back. Fucking bitch slapped, arm ripped off, jaw goes flying off. Yeah, Oliver's done fucking nothing. And so he's gone, he's out. Mark then threatens to kill Thrag like he killed Conquest. Which, of course, immediately that stops all the other Viltrumites. Like, what? You killed Conquest? And Thrag is just like, show me. That's fucking aura. And then he continues aura farming, because Mark punches him, and you get fucking impact frames, where you see, like, a demon face and a skull, and it's just so fucking cool. That's, you know, we talk about Thrag not being a fraud. For the majority of people, that one moment with the aura, between the punch and the impact frames, yeah, Thrag's not a fraud anymore. Oh my gosh. It's great. After that, you know, Nolan, of course, you set up in the scene that, hey, if Viltrum, you know, Thrag wants to build it back up, so instead of killing Thrag, what if you destroy the planet Viltrum? And that's Thetis, Mark, and Nolan. They chase a beam sent by Space Racer into the planet, and they destroy the planet, and the destruction of Viltrum looks fantastic. Again, the animation in the show, it's not great, but at least once a season, we get an episode where they actually did have some time and some budget to put things together, and this is this season's episode, and it fucking pays off. The destruction of Viltrumite, because this happens in the comics as well, obviously, but you feel it so much more in the show. It feels like the destruction of a planet. You know, this is the epicness of, like, the death of Krypton that we always want. It's fantastic. The destruction of Viltrum is so good. And all the Viltrumites and, you know, Alan just, like, staring in amazement. Like, they can't believe what just happened. That's great. And then Thetis is like, oh, your planet's gone. You have no choice but to surrender. And Thrag instead chooses death and just immediately kills Thetis. Fuck. And then so that leaves Mark and Nolan to fight him. And Mark's like, how do we beat this guy? And Nolan's like, we don't. And then he gets fucking impaled. Which, yeah, you know, that's the Viltrumites' go-to move. They love impaling people. Like, that's just kind of their shit. And it's cool every time it happens. Afterwards, Thrag goes to kill Mark. And as he's pressing in on his eyes to, you know, just to fucking crush his skull, I like this scene. And I did reread the comic because I was curious. So, in the comic, This scene is more bloody. Like, by this point, Thrag has, like, already started crushing his head before Mark even tries to run away. And so his face is, like, covered in blood. He's bleeding from the eyes. And then he goes to crush him. And Thrag's like, no. And then, fucking... the guy with the eye, not Marcus. Whatever the second in command is, you know who I'm talking about. He actually attacks Thrag in the comics for not trying to kill Mark. Like, it's just he throws a punch, and Thrag's like, no, we need them alive for what comes next. In the show, it's different, obviously, because he's pressing in on Mark's skull. He looks up, he sees the destroyed planet, he sees the dead Viltrumites, and then he stops. And the others come over and they're like, why'd you stop? And he's like, there's too little of us, there's too few of us already. And they complain, but they go, right, there's no, turning against Thrag for a second. I like how it's done in the show better. Specifically because as he's doing it, he looks at the planet, which, spoiler alert for the end of the episode / the next episode, they're going to Earth. So as I take it, even in the episode, is he's about to kill Mark, he looks up, he sees the destroyed Viltrum, thinks like, oh, where are we gonna go? Looks down at Mark and thinks, we'll go to his planet. That's why he keeps Mark alive. I've seen some people say, oh, it's plot armor. The only reason Thrag lets Mark go and Nolan go is because of plot armor. Here's the thing. If Nolan hadn't been picked up, he would be dead. Like, I believe, regardless, Mark would recover from his injuries. His skull was not that crushed. If Nolan hadn't been picked up, he would have been fucking dead. Same thing with Oliver. Oliver gets it the worst of the three of them. And I still think Nolan, fucking pulling your guts out, going straight through the chest is worse. But yeah, I've seen some, hat guy called Thrag a pussy for sparing them, plot armor. I don't think it's nearly that bad. I think some people are blowing it way out of proportion. But, that's just me. Especially because I know what's coming next. That, yes, he has to keep Mark alive for a reason. There is a very clear reason for it. And that's where the episode ends. Mark and Nolan and Oliver are in the hospital. Nolan and Mark have recovered. Alan's in charge of the coalition. And they can't find the Viltrumites because they're heading to Earth. I bet the next episode, I have a good idea. It's going to probably adapt, issue 77 and 78 of the comics. Which, if you're wondering where we are in the comics, we're about halfway. I think there's 144 issues. We're around... the episode we just did was issue 76. So I'm going to guess the next episode of the show is going to address the next 2 issues of the comics. Obviously, they're going to change some things because of, Nolan and Debbie and Paul. But outside of that, I'm interested to see where it's going to go. We're probably not going to get a big action fight scene, but I do expect something. I do expect at least something that's, more hypothetical. But that's next week. And yeah, I've seen some people say this is the best episode in the show's history. I know this episode is rated extremely high on IMDb and whatnot. I do not think this is as good as the Conquest episode. The season 3 finale is one of the greatest episodes in TV show history. It's not as good as Ozymandias, but it's pretty it's like, if we're on the staircase, it's just a step or 2 down. The season 3 finale is amazing. I don't think this is that good, but it's close. This was a fantastic episode, and the show is just so good. Animation budget's not, animation's not that great, but every once in a while they lock in and we get something truly amazing. And this is one of them. Alright, let's talk Tomodachi Life, shall we? So yes, I bought, of course, I had Tomodachi Life because I bought the game voucher, and so I've known I was going to get Tomodachi Life forever now as one of those game vouchers. You know, it had been paid for since like last year. Don't know what I have 2 of them, so I have no idea what I'm going to use the second one on. But I got Tomodachi Life. Probably not Rhythm Heaven, because Rhythm Heaven's only $40, and it probably will be added to game voucher, but I don't think so. And as far as it seems like Rhythm Heaven's going to be the last Switch game, so I don't know. Maybe I'll get something old that I never did. But so Tomodachi Life, if you've never played the 3DS game, it's not like Animal Crossing. It's also not like Pokopia. Tomodachi Life is probably the most similar to The Sims, but I'd say it's a little bit more hands-off. You know how in The Sims you can, you create characters, and then you give them like hopes and dreams, and then you as the player character are basically a god onto their universe, helping them fulfill their needs and meet their personal dreams and all that stuff. Tomodachi Life is more hands-off. It's more like an ant farm, where you create the Miis, but at the end of the day, they're just living their lives, and you get to, like, check in on their lives. But everything is played for comedy. Whereas The Sims uses, like, Simlish, the Tomodachi Life uses a text-to-speech voice, which is very robotic, intentionally so. Like, it's supposed to be goofy, but it is extremely endearing. And so, yeah, I loved the 3DS game. I put, I'm not going to say like 100 hours, but I put a good chunk of time into it. And so the Switch game, I was equally excited for. This is one of those games that I have been waiting on for years. Even before, like if you had asked me, hey, which would you have rather had, a new Animal Crossing or a new Tomodachi? I probably would have said a new Tomodachi. That's how much I fucking love that game. And I've put, I still play Animal Crossing daily. I still go in and check my turnip prices and whatnot. I have like 3 million bells in the bank now, because I haven't paid off my house in a while. But yeah, for this game is just special. I really do like it. It's the success of YouTube. If fucking Venny Vinesauce or Game Explains didn't exist, I would have never played this game. I would have never even probably heard of this game. And they sold it so well, and I was so excited. And yeah, I've been having a great time. It is, I've seen some of the reviews have described it as, wide as the ocean, shallow as a puddle. Because the customization in this game is basically you can do anything. Within the parameters of the game itself, you can do anything. And to that end, I think they pull it off pretty well. I know some people complained with Animal Crossing that they gave you too much freedom. This is not too much freedom. It's not. I love this amount of freedom. Things like Palette House, or, they've added more customization to the Miis, and you can do face paint. Not as much as, like, Miitopia, but it's still pretty good. You can do whatever you want in this game. And people have already done crazy things. Nintendo made it so you can't share videos or screenshots. That has not stopped people from recording stuff on their phones and just uploading it to Twitter and TikTok. And I've seen so many funny things, so many crazy things. Oh my god. I saw someone on TikTok make a Mii of Ryland Grace from Project Hail Mary, and then using Palette House they made a little Rocky. And I was like, oh, that's cute, that's fun. And then someone posted a comment, here's my Ryland Grace, and it's just fucking photorealistic Ryan Reynolds. Or Ryan Gosling, I mean. They just fucking made Ryan Gosling, and he looks exactly like him. Over at Kinda Funny, they've been making, everyone in their spare bedroom, and it looks fantastic. Like, here I am doing my, like, basic Mii's, like, I'm gonna play around with, like, eye color. And meanwhile, people are making, photorealistic humans, exact replicas of dogs. Someone on Twitter made, like, Raising Cane's, and it looks just like an icon. Oh my god. Meanwhile, I can't draw worth shit. But I've been having fun, you know. I put the enchanted big boy boxers from Dungeon Crawler Carl in there. I haven't put Carl yet, but I was like, ah, that'd be funny. So, you know, I've been having fun with it. I've been trying to be creative, but I'm not too creative. I've been mostly doing basic stuff with Mies. For Mies, currently I have like 13. I do not have that. I've been trying to limit myself to adding like 2 per day. You know, kind of like Animal Crossing, where I believe you should only play Animal Crossing for like 30 minutes a day, and that's how I have the most fun out of the game. Tomodachi Life is kind of the same way. Admittedly, early on, I'm putting a lot more time into it, but I believe that in order for me to maximize my fun, I should only put like a little bit of time, and that means only adding like 1 to 2 Mies a day. Admittedly, I think I put like 3 one day. I think I put like 3 yesterday, and I'll tell you exactly why. But yeah, I've been having fun with it. I know we learned from Venny Vinesauce, there was the lesson, don't put yourself in there. I'm not streaming the game, however. If I was streaming this, I would not have added myself, but I'm not, so I don't have to worry about that. So I didn't put myself in there, or I did. Currently, my Mii is not dating anybody. They don't even have any crushes or anything. So nothing's happened there. Relationships on my island, really, outside of one messy thing, it's mostly just been like, oh, I have a crush on somebody else, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to watch them and crush on them a lot. But so far, outside of like one character who had like 4 different people who had a crush on them, and finally someone convinced earlier today, and like, you know, 2 other people showed up. The main one who was confessing got rejected, and the one I thought was gonna win did win. I'm still, you know, no marriages yet. I just got people moving in together, so I finally got that to happen, which was nice. And, you know, it's just been randoms. I'm not gonna go over all 12 of my Miis, obviously. You know, I've been putting in a mix of like, oh, here's some people I know. Here's some fictional characters. Hey, let me throw in some OCs, you know, let me make somebody up. Because I've been trying to like play around with things. Oh, God. So when it comes to making Miis, in the original game, the big problem I had was same face syndrome. It's like a, you know, a Disney movie where all the characters in Disney now look the same. Everyone just looks like Elsa and Anna. That's been my main concern with Tomodachi Life, because in the 3DS game, I only like 2 of the noses, so every character had the same fucking nose. And like there are certain eye types I don't like. Like I don't like the eyes without pupils in them. They just look wrong to me. But I've been having fun with it, you know, I've been trying to do different faces. Some characters, you know, where it's like, oh yeah, that nailed it, they look great. Others, it's just like, this doesn't look right. There was one where I put her in, and her hair was wrong. And I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with her hair? Okay, let me try something else. Let me like pull it back. Nope, that looks wrong as well. And it took me like 2 days of just like every day I'd like mess around with it a little bit. Now I'm happy with it. And just to add in a new character who has the same fucking problem. And I'm just like, I'm not happy with it. I keep making changes. I changed their nose. And I was like, oh, maybe that'll fix it. Spoiler alert, it didn't fix it. And I'm still unhappy with it. So, I've been messing around with that. Face paint, I like the idea of the face paint stuff. I saw someone on Twitter being like, oh, hey, you can do earrings. And so when I was creating a character today, I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll give them some earrings. So I gave them, like, little, like, diamond earrings. And I was like, oh, that's cute. That's a cute thing you can do. Of course, I've been messing around with the new features. One of the things they added in this game are these little, where when characters level up, they get little quirks. Where it's like, oh, it's a special little characteristic. Like, maybe they walk differently. Maybe they eat differently. I love that feature. The little quirks, just, they're a little thing, but I think they add so much. Of course, you can also give them items. I feel like there are less items to give in this game. Like, yes, you unlock more as you level up, but I feel like the previous game had more stuff to unlock. Sayings, there's a bunch of sayings. I like that one of the default sayings for when you scream at the ocean is like and subscribe. Like, they just pre-programmed that into the game, that you could have your character say like and subscribe. That was funny. I like that. Of course, I had to give that to myself the moment I saw that. But yeah, I'm having fun with that. I've been experimenting with some of the new features, you know, same-sex relationships. That was one of the first things that I was going to do. I was like, yeah, I'm going to add, you know, two people, and let's see, you know, if they have a relationship. Currently, they are crushing on other people, so it's not really working out. But hey, it was a fun idea, and I'll see if anything comes out of that. Another thing is, since they added family relations, I was like, you know what? I'm going to add siblings. Specifically, I saw under the thing, there's a feature where you can make a me look like another me. Basically, you can use another me as a template. And I was like, you know what? Let's do triplets. So I did triplets. One is red, one is blue, and one is green. You know, I tried to do RGB. It's cool. You know, one is red eyes, red hair, red eyeshadow. One is blue. You know, blue eyeshadow, blue lips, blue hair. And they all use the same hair, the same nose, the same eyes. I just, like, change a few things, you know. Like, the back hair is the same on all of them, but the front hair is different. Just so that I could tell them apart a little bit more, even though the color is pretty obvious. And then for the final one, I was like, you know what? I wonder if I could do heterochromia. What if I, you know, they're green, but what if I can give them one blue eye and one red eye? Because, you know, these are just characters I made up. These are OCs. And so I did that, but you can't naturally do heterochromia. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to use the face paint. So I paint on their left eye red. I make the left eye red. And it's like, okay, cool. It looks great. Every time they blink, the left eye doesn't close. Like, the right eye blinks, but the left eye doesn't. It just looks wrong. And it looks, every time they blink, it looks like they're winking. Whenever they close their eyes, it's like they still got, like, one eye open. It's like I'm in the fucking Telltale Heart, and this is the Eye of Death. It looks great. Like, honestly, like, because the thing about the face paint is it's like a layer above the head, so like the earrings don't actually attach at the ears, but they look fine if you're looking at them head on. I think the eye covering that I used to, you know, do heterochromia looks even better. But yeah, they just don't blink. They only wink, and it drives me a little crazy, but I think all three designs are fantastic. Honestly, of all the characters I've made so far, the triplets are my favorite. When it comes to relationships, I mentioned earlier how one character had been rejected. That was the middle triplet, was the one who had been rejected. And then the eldest and youngest triplet are in a love triangle, where the eldest triplet is in love with somebody. Or, no, the youngest triplet is in love with somebody, but the person they're in love with is in love with the oldest triplet. So they're in a love triangle. And that, again, that all just happened today. So that's been fun. But they're great. Like I said, I've had a few roommates. I've added a few things through Palette House. I made a red dog. And I was like, oh, that'll be fun. And luckily they give me some templates to work with. I don't know, I'm trying to have my fun where I can. It's a good game. It is a good game. I'm having a good time with Tomodachi Life. What else can I say? Like I said, I'm taking my sweet-ass time, but it's more than worth it. But yeah, there are just some me's that I just cannot get to look right. I don't know if I'm just missing face detail. Like, I tried, like, with the one girl who's driving me crazy right now. I was like, okay, maybe, you know, because I did the earring thing. I was like, oh, maybe I'll go back and give her earrings. Didn't solve the problem. Nope, didn't fix it. I gave her like a smoky eyeshadow. Nope, that made things worse. Right now she's got like some blush. That's not, I mean, it's barely noticeable, but yeah, she's missing something and I don't know what. And I just keep messing around with the hair and the eyes, and eventually something will click. Because it did on the other one. It took me, again, like 2 days. But it eventually clicked. And I just needed to click again, and it's not. And, ugh. But I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time. I'm going to keep playing. Again, I don't plan on streaming it or anything, but it's just fun. I do worry, again, wide as the ocean, shallow as a puddle. I have seen some repeats already. Like, I have seen scenes that have repeated things. You know, there's only so many options for some of these things. But as I think about it, I'm like, was the first game, the second game, was Tomodachi Life this bad? And, like, kind of? Because, like, part of me worries with you having this island and Misc can now walk around. I was like, are they going to be interacting as much? And, like, on one hand, it kind of feels like they aren't. But maybe they didn't interact that much in Tomodachi Life either. It's been, 12 years since I played the last one, so I'm not that good of a judge. But I think the amount of customization this game gives you is a good thing. People, I would say, are going to do crazy things. They're already doing crazy things. I have already seen some super impressive things. I've had some funny things. There's like, at one point it was like, oh, what's like a person you really like or something? And I put Batman in there. And then later on, I get someone who's like, I want to fight Batman. And I was like, no, the fuck you don't. And then someone else is like, what's a supervillain you like? Which was a real, because like occasionally, like when two Mii's talk to each other, they like want to be friends. They'll ask you for stuff to talk about. But also sometimes they'll like ask you questions. And like one of the questions I got asked was like, hey, what's in comic books and movies, who's your favorite supervillain? And I was trying to think like, oh, do I want to say, like Joker, Lex Luthor, something like that? And I put Conquest. Hasn't shown up in anything yet, but I think it's cool that you could do that. And that the Mii's will occasionally prompt you just to get words into the dictionary. I will be honest though, I did fuck up. One of the things was like, oh, give us something to talk about. And I put in Markiplier, but I fucking misspelled Markiplier. I forgot the I, so it's Markiplier. They say it correctly, but I was so worried about how they said it that I misspelled it. And while you can change how they pronounce words, unless you delete the word, you cannot actually change it. So I feel like it's an oversight. So Markiplier is misspelled, and while I can change how they say it, I can't actually change it. I don't know why you can't change it outside of pronunciation, and I don't want to delete it, so they're just gonna, I guess, keep calling him Markiplier. But it's pronounced correctly, it's just spelled wrong. But nothing I can do about it. Overall, having a good time, easiest recommendation in the world. Like, yes, it will never be Game of the Year. That's just the nature of things, but it's so much fucking fun. And people are doing so many great things on Twitter. I have not watched Vinny Vinesauce's thing. I will eventually, but I have not watched it. The times have changed. And while I can still have my fun with it, kind of funny though has been doing, they got Andy doing the memes, and oh my god, his me of Tim, so fucking good. The Greg was really good. He hasn't done himself yet, so I'm waiting on that. The Nick was funny because of how short it was. It's been great. It has been great. Alright, let's talk about Assistant to the Villain. So, a few weeks ago we talked about, we talked Assistant to the Villain, and then the second book is Apprentice to the Villain. I read the second book. I just didn't vibe with it as much. Like, I started off really strong because I liked the first one, but the second one just wasn't as good. Apprentice to the Villain, they're basically off on this, like, side quest, or I guess it's the main quest. They're trying to figure out what happened to Evie's mom. That, in order for this grand prophecy to be fulfilled, they have to find Evie's mom. And so that's what they go looking for. And it leads them on this wild goose chase. They keep talking to people, and it's like, okay, well, go here next, go here next. And then eventually you finally get an answer. Oh, wait, she's just dead. Ah, fuck. And then the main character, Tristan, who is our main villain, is losing his magic, and like Evie can see his magic, and he gets a separate prophecy that says that Evie will be his undoing as he will be hers. So he's like trying to keep his distance, because like they do finally like make out. Like, okay, they kissed in the first book, but finally in this one, like, they're making out, they're more willing to be a couple, and then he gets that prophecy, and now it's like, nope, I'm not gonna touch you, because, you know, I don't want you to destroy me, but I don't want to destroy you either. Clearly there's, you know, at the end, the book ends with Gideon, the older brother, who we found out wasn't dead, and I think that's fine. With him being like, oh, you know, Evie might actually be part of the prophecy, and like there's this whole thing with like unmasking, and technically Evie was unmasked. So we'll see if that goes anywheres, obviously. But I just didn't enjoy it as much. Like all the questing, we get more perspective. In the first book, it was just Tristan and Evie's perspective. In this one, we get Rebecca's perspective, who is like the HR lady who works for the villain. And then I think we get... Did we get Blade's perspective? Well, there's another one as well. We get a fourth perspective. I want to say it's Blade Gushiken. It might be somebody else. No, it's probably Gideon. It's probably the brother, now that I think about it. So yeah, we get... In the second book, we get Tristan, Evie, Rebecca, and Gideon. And like the new perspectives, you know, they do have their good moments. We see, Evie's sister wants to be a villain as well. She wants to be like Tristan. And I thought for a second, like, oh, well, with the mother dead, is Lissa, the little sister, going to get the mom's magic? Like, I felt like that would have been a decent solution to their problem. Sure, it would have been fucked up in like a Charlotte kind of way. Yeah, potentially. But no, instead, they get out of it a completely different way. Spoiler alert, the mother's actually alive. She turned into a star. But yeah, I mean, I liked Rebecca's perspective. She's an interesting character as like the HR lady. Originally, she starts off as like a romantic rival for Evie in the first book. But no, she actually has a romance with Blade. And, yeah, they're interesting. I like them. And then in the third book, which I've started the third book, I'm like an hour in. Like I said, by the end of the second one, I just wasn't vibing with it as much. But in the third book, we get Kingsley's perspective. And we also get... we get another one as well. Oh, we either get Tatiana's or Claire's. Which Tatiana is like the healer who works for the villain, and Claire is the villain's sister. And those two are in a romantic relationship. So I don't remember which one it is, I just know it's one of them. They are cute. I do like, at one point they like sneak away together, because they were like childhood sweethearts in the first book, but they broke up because, you know, the villain, Tristan became the villain, and she didn't condone that, so when Tatiana was given a choice, she chose Tristan instead of Claire. And so they kind of had a falling out, but because of the events of the first book, Claire now realizes, like, oh wait, my brother isn't actually like a dickhead, and so now her and Tatiana are trying to get back together, and Lissa's like trying to meet cute them and like locks them in a room together. It's all good. You know, that part's fun. And the idea of seeing Claire's perspective in the new books, not terrible. Same thing with Kingsley, because, yeah, Kingsley, this is something that you figure out, like, immediately in the first book, but it takes, well, I want to say it takes, like, either the end of the first book or into the second book for Tristan to finally be like, oh yeah, Kingsley used to be, you know, a person, a prince who got turned into a frog. And then Evie's just like, yeah, I've known this whole time. You weren't very subtle with it. But yeah, I like the Kingsley stuff because they're kind of hinting that he's like, you know, he's like an intelligent frog who can like hold up these little signs. But they're hinting that he's just turning into like a normal frog now, which is no good. But yeah, I'm still working on it. But yeah, I just haven't halfway through the second book, I was just kind of like, whatever, I'll do it to do it. So I saw a thing recently that was, I talk about Dungeon Crawler Carl, and how it's this genre called Lit RPG, which is, literature RPG. And there are other literature, Dungeon Crawler Carl is the big one. There are other ones, obviously. And so I was going through Audible, and another lit RPG, He Who Fights with Monsters, the first book is free with my Audible subscription. I don't remember what tier I have, don't ask. But I saw it and I was like, oh, first book free? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll add that to my library. Oh, maybe I'll just abandon Accomplice to the Villain, the third book. And maybe I'll move on. Oh, wait, this He Who Fights with Monsters is 28 hours long. Listen, I'm all for a long book, but, that is longer than, I think, the longest Carl book right now. Admittedly, again, Parade of Horribles comes out in, 3 weeks, but still. And there's, 11 of these fuckers. He Who Fights with Monsters is, an 11-book series so far. So it's fuck. I bet, these are definitely been around longer, probably, maybe. I don't know. I don't know the history of lit RPG as a genre. But all I know is I saw that length and was like, fuck, I don't have time for that. That was the appeal of Carl, especially early on. Is yeah, they're good books, but they're also the first 2 books are 8 hours each. Okay, I think the first one might be 10. Still, they get longer each book, but they started off kind of short. Whereas jumping straight into 28 hours, fuck, I don't have the time. I wish I did. God, I wish I did. Because that's what's always kept me from reading Brandon Sanderson. What I've seen from Brandon Sanderson, I really do like, but I don't have the fucking time to read Mistborn. I don't have the time to read The Way of Kings. Oh my gosh, I don't. Same thing with Stephen King. I really like some Stephen King stuff, but at a certain point, it's just too long. And I just don't have the time. I would love to read The Stand. The Stand has been on my list for ages now, but I just don't have the time. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll start He Who Fights with Monsters. It's on my radar now, but then again, Parade of Horribles is in 3 weeks, and I kind of hinted that after I read Parade of Horribles, I might, because the one thing I've learned from the Dungeon Crawler Carl fandom is that once you get in, you don't get out. Oh, well, would you recommend any other books like Dungeon Crawler Carl? No. You just reread the series again. Read it from the start. Maybe do the audio immersion tunnel. That's what I've learned from the fandom. And I kind of get it. I don't know. This is kind of how I treat Marvel movies, if it wasn't apparent. Whenever there's a big new Marvel movie, I'm like, time to rewatch everything again. I was thinking about that, because I should probably, if I wanted to rewatch everything, I should probably start now, because at a movie a week, that would take me until Doomsday, December. But also, I just kind of don't want to. I honestly feel, I worry that because of how Doomsday's going, nothing fucking matters. Basically, everything after Endgame doesn't fucking matter, and that sucks. Okay, maybe Spider-Man. But, outside of that, I don't know. I mean, I like Thunderbolts. I liked Fantastic Four. But I don't know. Maybe I'll wait until Secret Wars for that one. Especially because I don't want to watch some of those TV shows. I've not... I know Daredevil's going on right now. I've not been watching Daredevil. I want to. I watched the first season. I liked the first season. But I just haven't had the time. So there's that. Any other miscellaneous things as we do 1 or 2 more matches? I don't know. I booted up Pokemon Champions. I finally was like, yeah, you know what, fuck it, let's boot it up. I did it. I got a Garganackle, and that was kind of it. I'll play more of it in the future. Just for the moment, I was just like, okay, you know, this is a game. Sure. I don't know. I did the tutorial stuff. You know, it's funny because, like, I guess this game actually lets you skip the tutorial, and I was like, yeah, I could skip the tutorial on battling, but you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it anyways. So I did that. I don't know. I need to play more of it. I do. I just haven't. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's switch it up. Get our boy Waddle Do out here. And do I want to change carts? Yeah, okay, let's do the wheelie. And we'll do one final race, and we'll call it. Yeah, Pokemon Charm. Anything else? I mean, Kiln comes out, I want to say on like Thursday or Friday, or Wednesday or Thursday. So I do want to, you know, I will play Kiln again, hopefully. I do plan on buying it. It's like 20 bucks, that's not bad. And then yeah, I'm just gonna keep playing Tomodachi Life. I'll get around to Pokopia at some... Before year's end, I will play Pokopia. I don't know when, I don't know where, but before year's end, I will play Pokopia. Oh my gosh, did you see there was a thing at Costco? I guess Costco has Pokemon Legends ZA, Kirby Air Riders, and like one other game 50% off. Maybe even more than that, because they're like 30 bucks each. It sucks I already have all three of those games, or else that would be a fucking steal. But yeah, there's like 3 games that are just on sale through Costco. And that's cool, you know. Nintendo doesn't put games on sale, but I trust Costco too. I can't remember what... I know it was Pokemon in Kirby. I don't think it was Pokopia. It might be Pokopia. I don't... If it's Pokopia, that's crazy, because that game's only been out a few weeks. But that's kind of what I've seen people talking about on Twitter today. What was the other one? I'm looking through Twitter right now to see if I can... Oh, Metroid Prime 4. Yeah, that is the other one. Which I already had. Yep. I kind of wish I... Because I haven't played it. But I bought it preemptively just because I did plan on playing it. And I kind of wish I now hadn't, because I could have just gone to Costco and got it for 50, 60% off. Ah, that would have been nice. You know what I do wish with... Speaking of Prime 4 with its Switch 2 upgrade... I hope we get a Switch 2 upgrade for Pokopia, or not, for Tomodachi Life. Just give me mouse controls. Like, the game has a cursor in it. There should be mouse controls. It's crazy that there isn't. But, like, what are you gonna do? I hope it happens. Like, I don't expect them to add online sharing. I understand why they didn't. And I don't want them to add a filter, but just give me Switch 2 mouse controls. That'd be cool. Okay, I think I've gone through everything. I don't think I have anything else to say. So let's head over here. I guess that's our outro. Coming up in the next few weeks. Again, today was going to be a short stream. I didn't have much to talk about. Hopefully, I'll have more to say next week. And we'll actually do Captain Toad. You know, that's the goal. I mean, we spent the first like 20 minutes talking about chocolate. So we hit an hour and a half, which is what I expected. Captain Toad was probably going to take us another hour, which is why I elected not to do it tonight. But next week, we'll get back into Captain Toad, probably. And that's the goal. And yeah, other than that, I don't really have anything else. I don't know. I don't know. There's always video game. There's always shit. It's just, you know, this week I just didn't have any gaming news, and I don't really feel like talking much about other stuff. I'm so tired. My social battery was drained today. But, yeah, I mean, I got everything I wanted out. So with that, we'll be back next week. I'm sure we'll have plenty more to do, hopefully. But until then, hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. There's supposed to be a State of Play this week. Maybe next week. Till then, peace.